this evening is Blayze, who is studying artificial intelligence with computer science at the University of Sheffield, but he's currently down in Portsmouth on a research-based work placement, so we're lucky to have him this evening. Blayze is going to be talking about AI, and he's had a fascination with that all his life that borders on obsession. And also, we noticed earlier that he's wearing two watches, and he quite often is wearing his two watches and staring intently at computer monitors. So what's the thing with the two watches, Blayze?
Well, this one's for showing the time, this one's for launching news.
So launching! Okay, so everybody clap Blayze really loudly at the end.
A computer scientist. We wanted to see a physicist here talk about planets and space rockets and those sorts of cool things. But don't worry, I have quite possibly the coolest thing that computer scientists do to talk about. That's right, function optimization. So let me explain. Imagine you have a graph with a function on it. It sort of looks like a line. Optimization is the act of finding the lowest part. It's kind of what Justin Bieber was doing back in 2014. Now, this is quite hard for computers to do because these functions, they go infinitely in both directions. So what we tend to do is we imagine that we're a blind person standing somewhere on this sort of hillscape, and we just put our feet out in different directions until we find a downhill slope, and then we go towards it. And eventually, we end up at the bottom. Now, this is all well and good, but it has a few practical applications as well. So, for instance, say I wanted to optimize and increase the efficiency of the amount of energy that I'm taking to move from my seat over there to over here. I look at the different variables that I could change. One of those variables is my amount that I'm moving, but if I did that, then it wouldn't be as funny. So I won't do that. Another variable that I could change is my mass or my weight, because we all know that energy is a function of weight. So I can do that right now. Another thing that I could do is I could try to optimize this entire thing for comedy, or comedic effect. And last joke seemed to work quite well, so I could do it again. I can keep on doing this. These are just pictures of cats. So. These things also have real-world impact. Instead of just sort of explaining how I walk from that seat over to here, real-world scenarios have much more complicated and much more variables. It's like taking our analogy of the guy on the hill and sort of adding, a couple of million legs to the person and saying that actually he's on a hyperdimensional hill. You think about it after a little bit and it starts to make sense. Sometimes. And there's one key area that we've seen recently that this happened, that was with the SpaceX rocket. Now that thing launched into space and then landed on a barge far out into the ocean. And what they were really doing, they're saying they're doing complicated stuff, maybe they were, but what they were really doing is they were just optimizing for the distance between the rocket and the barge. As it got closer, they were trying to get it closer to the center. So I have about 9 seconds left. I hope that you've enjoyed this. And we managed to explain all of that without mentioning physicists or their rockets.
So, when AI takes over the world, will you be God?
Oh, no. I built it and then serve. You laugh now.
So I teach maths and computing. So a lot of what I'm grasping with sometimes is bringing this down to real world examples. The SpaceX rocket, that's cool. I like to watch that stuff, but not everyone kind of is grabbed by it. But are there any examples that live in people's pockets, for example, that have this technology going on?
Yeah, well, mobile phones do this all the time, in fact. Actually, we see a few people here taking photos and videos. Now, we actually have to sort of do a lot of mathematics, not quite as much normalization, optimization, but when you have a phone up and, it sort of dims and brightens and dims and brightens, that's effectively the same thing. It's trying to sort of optimize for an average level of light, which is why if they break, they sort of flicker. You look at them, you don't know what's going on.
how easy it is to optimize the time between your two different watches using this nice.
Very confusing, really. I mean, this one just has 3 minutes on it. I set it up for this show, but I don't actually know how to turn it back now. So I'm just going to be working on 3-minute days for the rest of the day.
Great, well that was a fantastic end to what's been a really